coming to the actual topic of the discussion, the topic is on how the COVID pandemic is going to influence is going to influence the architecture and the landscape of urban planning. It's not the first time that architecture has been influenced by a disease or any kind of pandemic. Back in 1849, when the second cholera outbreak happened in the U.S., the city of New York was devastated, and I was told that the architects of that time advocated the concept of parks, a sole space where foul air can be let out and pure air can be pulled back in. And that's what actually led to the creation of the famous Central Park in New York. Now, in the context of that, what are your thoughts on how urban planning in India can be handled to face the new norms or the new normal, what you can call it, with social distancing and all of that, especially with our demographic divide, adding more challenges to the whole thing.
These 10 months to an architect has been the greatest enlightenment of my life. I call it one of my dreams because I'm not under pressure. No contractor can put pressure on me. No client can put pressure on me. As long as I have food to eat, she manages somehow to sort out the problems. I eat, I go, I come back, pretend to wear the mask. The commissioner says, "Hey, mask put in there." Fine, he will give me a mask each time. Then that started one process. Then I found students would come here because no classes. And one to one they would answer, somehow managed to smuggle themselves, come. Then I learnt about this, what do you call, classes on paper, on camera. Zoom calls, which I've never used. Even today I don't know how to make a Zoom call, but Zoom calls happen. Big advantage of COVID. The other day we had, I can have students in the US, I can have students from Russia, I can have students in Belgium, I can have students in Australia, all talking to with senior architects. Could I have done this? The other great aspect of COVID is it has brought the world in peace together. Otherwise the world was going to pieces. COVID has integrated the entire earth as one space, which has done.
Which other incident has
ever done? It was only fear of war, fear of this, fear of this. It has done something unbelievable.
But sir,
you are saying, I'll just put one. 3 days back I had a conference. I was a little afraid when I saw the speaker. One was from somewhere down California side. The other was in Germany. I said, who is the third speaker? She's a very famous architect in Karachi. I said, Pakistan, government will put me inside. She didn't hear me. She called me, Mr. Jaisim, I've heard of you. I'm the fourth speaker. I'm with you. We are coordinating from Karachi. We were afraid. You know how I said, CABI, nobody will come here. It was one of the most beautiful conferences I've ever had on Zoom between 4 different countries, 4 corners from Australia, here, there. Yes, your question.
So my question is more on the pressures or the challenges of urban planning in large cities of India, and how that can be solved from an architectural or a design standpoint.
You have touched a very hard core, especially for software industries. People have finally realized they can work from home. And I have been telling this right from 20 years to the Ministry, Urban Affairs Ministry, I think. Don't concentrate on first level cities or second level cities. Concentrate on third and fourth level. Now BJP is taking it. If you look at my lectures, I said take third level, fourth level villages, convert them to urban spaces. You will find the urbanization there will happen in a much better way because they understand architecture in a different context, whereas we understand it from the North Indian or the British context in hard cities, whereas they are still farmers. They have taught me much more. When I go outside, I love doing my village farmhouses. I love doing my housing. That's why I said one of the big builders said, don't build, you come to me, come down beyond the borders of Karnataka, we will build a city, we will build an urbanization. Fortunately, unfortunately, city has to survive. It will survive because the youngsters are looking at it in a different perspective. These huge apartments and flats are built. As long as they're cared for, it will have problems. But the influence, whether COVID is real or not, I still don't know. To be very frank, but let us assume it is real. You wear a mask. How can that mask prevent? He is putting a thing on. Initially, the mask was selling at 1,500 or 2,000 rupees. Then now it is free. You were forced into my pocket here, forced into my pocket here, forced into my pocket. That's another marketing strategy by I-50 by the pharmaceutical companies. They still say till February next year they won't release it. Till then what? We die, is it? I find there has been less death in this. The other factor is the open spaces in the city. Can they become multiple spaces? Can they become multifunctional spaces?
Yeah, that's
This
what
is
I
the
want to
core
try
I
to
want.
say.
I'm very happy to listen to you. This is where I didn't like architects who said this will be an office complex, this will be a residential complex, this will be commercial complex. No, all must integrate. Now, finally, people have learned what is integration. How to make people just walk from one place to the other. This is my house, this is my cinema theatre, this is my workspace. I can move. This is where when we converted our house into a workspace. And it need not be a self-disciplinary thing like only architects, a cameraman. I like all these people because if you fuse many disciplines together, you get greater achievement. Like you spend, he spends some. I find something more fascinating happens.
So you're talking about some kind of a hyper-local.
Yes. It will happen. It has to happen. But India being India, our chaos is the thing. People always ask me, "Don't you find chaos?" I said that is India. That is the Asian subcontinent. We are a chaotic people who with chaos we have order. I said, what do you mean? Many of these NRIs who come here, sir, we have no order. I said, come to Europe. You have beautiful order. You come home, total chaos. I would rather have chaos and then order than chaos. We all go home, we all go to Europe, any city. It's horrible. America is the worst place I will ever want to go now. Don't put it, they won't give me visa. You're free. Which we are going through a process. The architects are learning a lot of things. We are also, because we are a little old, technology defies me. Wi-Fi doesn't work, Zoom doesn't work, I don't know what to do. So one phone call, somehow the boy or the girl from the office comes here, quietly puts in hotspot, she's good. That's all right, put this, it works. So for that somebody, we are learning. But we should not at the same time lose the sense of art. See, what is happening in the architecture in the past 10 years before COVID, everything became technology oriented. I can build 100 stories, I can build 3,000 houses, I can build apartments. You see this rubbish called housing for the masses. I've never seen stupider buildings in my life. They're like prisons. Even prisons are better, you can walk up to. Whereas, if the smart housing and thing had an individuality coming in, and then somehow brought people together without physically pushing them together, you would have achieved phenomenal this. You go back to our old villages. That's where I liked it. In an old neighborhood, we used to have that lazy katte. What do you call it? What was the katte called? Lazy katte, where all the old days in all would sit and talk.
Okay. Around that tree near the
Around the tree, correct. That katte, the tree katte. Then the bigger group would be in the bigger park. Then the big group will join in the big space. That was how neighborhoods were born. So that big park would attract all the neighborhoods. The other lot, the personal lot. So you could get out from home. This is exactly what COVID has done. Don't stay at home. But you go there in the evening, you'll find all the oldies sitting here, the ladies sitting here, the young ones, three corners. Before they were, now they're going. They're meeting, they're discussing. Something is happening. I'm looking at COVID in a very positive way. Yes, the physical danger of police arresting you, that is there, because that is their job. They have been asked to do, but I'm glad that they will come over it in a different way. But I have learned a lot in this. Another lot I've learned during COVID. When I get a contractor and a builder who is very dedicated, he says, show me the site. Then he goes to the builder, to the owner of the place. looks at the neighborhood house. He talks to the neighbor and says, is anybody living here? Anybody live? No, I'm taking over the plot. He puts his entire workforce there. They don't have to travel. They don't have to move, which means their productivity increases. They are there. Only the architect complains, saying, I can't come. No, you can come protected, whatever it is, and work. In fact, we are working now, instead of 8 hours, 6 hours running back in the bus up and down, we are working almost 18 hours, which means we are producing more, we are producing. Somehow the cement reaches, somehow the jelly reaches, somehow, as long as you work. To me, COVID has been an extremely positive factor. Yes, it has hindered travel and movement, but
I suppose we are doing a little too much of it in any case. So
100% right. We were simply building things without knowing why we built, what was the road for. You go here, forest, destroy. I agree with you. This urbanization factor is taking another factor that's coming out of COVID, is final realization, which will come back again very fast, is the urban core is only an entertainment space. It is not even a workspace. The workspace, if I go to my, that is my apartment or my house on the outskirts of the city. And in the outskirts, if I want to take another small place to work, I can join 4 or 5 people and work. They are small workspaces. Which means only when I want to meet people for entertainment, I come to the city, for which I can really prepare myself, prepare COVID, whatever you want. The city center becomes entertainment. The city internal space between your residence and this becomes workspaces and motivates this trend. And I anticipate transportation to become very simple and easy. Underground transportation will come, the helix, that's another chapter of mine, another way which I'm trying to discuss, building under the ground. That is my futuristic process.
Very interesting you say that, because I came across a kind of a buzzword called resimercial. So it's a residential and commercial getting intertwined together and creating hyperlocal communities, and then probably using, as you rightfully said, the city center for your entertainment and other needs.
Because entertainment, you meet various people.
Correct.
So it's nice. You want to work there. If you want another, like this has become a workspace now, right? That's a residence space, this is a workspace. It works. And I feel the future of architecture will translate this into something unbelievable. I call it ecology and acoustics. Human habitation. Human habitation has to come about without destroying nature, without destroying unnecessarily some of the greenery that we have. We can concentrate and ensure that the hardcore greenery which we have. India is a beautiful country. It's one of the subcontinents which you can grow a tree anywhere in the place. Nowhere in the world you can grow. People forget it. You can grow on terrace, you can grow on the side. The species, they have the birds. If you learn to live with the nature, continuously interacting, nature teaches us every step how to live, right from point one. I believe we can create a fascinating space.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was nice.